The schoolyard bullies had cornered and pushed down a black student, but within just 10 minutes, a white classmate would deliver a lesson they'd never forget. It was a crisp morning in late March when Maya Williams stepped onto the grounds of her Athens, Georgia high school, arriving early as she always did. She made her way along the worn concrete path past the flagpole, where America's colors barely moved in the gentle wind. She held her faded denim backpack close against her body, wearing simple sneakers, her hair pulled back in an effortless ponytail. No makeup, nothing fancy. Being invisible didn't bother her. Most days she actually preferred it that way. Maya's mother, who worked as a nurse at St. Mary's Medical Center, had always advised her to steer clear of problems. Keep your head down, stay quiet, finish high school, and move forward. Maya had taken this advice to heart, especially after the tragic car accident that left her brother Jacob wheelchair-bound. Since then, her life revolved more around caregiving than socializing or chasing popularity. She assisted Jacob with schoolwork, accompanied him to physical therapy, and had developed an instinct for recognizing hidden cruelty behind friendly faces. As she headed toward the main entrance that Monday, she spotted a group gathered near the front steps, 3 boys wearing football jackets, sporting pristine sneakers and boisterous voices. Maya recognized them immediately, as did everyone at school. Wes Dyer, Colton Reeves, and Logan Ward. Sons of influential men in town. Business owners, lawyers, one related to the sheriff. They walked with entitlement, like they owned every inch of ground beneath their feet. Standing before them was a small, dark-skinned girl with tight black curls gathered into a puff, clutching the straps of her backpack. Maya knew her from algebra. Brittany Moore. She had relocated from Atlanta just a month ago and, though quiet, carried herself with a self-assurance that clearly irritated certain people. "Need a hall pass, Beyoncé?" Wes called out loudly, his voice echoing across the courtyard, drawing snickers from nearby windows. Brittany remained silent and attempted to walk past them. That proved to be her mistake. Colton stepped directly in her path, forcing her to stop. Logan positioned himself behind her. Maya couldn't make out their words anymore, but she observed Brittany's posture stiffen, her grip tightening. Wes leaned in closer, his expression mocking. Then it happened. Colton shoved Brittany hard. She fell sideways, her backpack sliding. Off her shoulder, books scattering across the concrete, her knees scraping against the rough surface. Wes laughed. Logan whistled as though it were all just harmless fun. Brittany winced, but didn't cry out. She simply began gathering her belongings in silence. No one moved to help. Not the students watching from inside, not the teachers by the doors, not even the security guard sipping coffee in his vehicle. Maya felt her pulse quicken. Yet she remained frozen. She gripped her backpack tighter, jaw clenched. Her mother's advice echoed in her mind. "Keep your head down, baby. Just make it through the day." But then Brittany briefly looked up, and their eyes connected. Not pleading, not ashamed, just a quiet question. "Are you really going to stand by and do nothing?" Maya's stomach churned with discomfort. 10 minutes later, the lunch bell rang. Students flooded into the courtyard in lazy waves. The bullies had long since disappeared into the cafeteria, but Maya didn't follow. Instead, she returned to the front steps and found Brittany sitting alone beneath the flagpole, dabbing at her injured knee with a napkin. Blood had stained her sock. "You okay?" Maya asked. Brittany looked up, surprised. "Yeah, just a scrape." "Mind if I sit?" Maya asked. Brittany nodded. They sat in silence for a moment before Maya asked, "Do you know how to throw a punch?" Brittany gave her a sidelong glance. "Why, are you planning to teach me?" Maya didn't respond. She stood up, removed a hair tie from her wrist, and secured her ponytail more tightly. Then she scanned the area and spotted the boys, Wes, Colton, and Logan, laughing near the vending machines behind the gymnasium. Maya removed her backpack and handed it to Brittany. "Hold this!" Brittany blinked in confusion. "Wait! What are you—" But Maya was already walking away. Each step felt heavier than the last, her chest burning with determination. She wasn't entirely sure what she would say, only that if she didn't act now, she would carry that silence with her forever. The boys noticed her approach and exchanged smirks, anticipating entertainment. "Well, well," Logan remarked. "Look who finally decided to speak up." Maya halted a few feet away. Her voice came out steady, without trembling. "You think what you did earlier was funny?" Wes smirked. "It was just a joke. She tripped." "Really?" "Because from where I was standing, you deliberately pushed her." "And what exactly do you plan to do about it?" Colton challenged, crossing his arms. Maya studied each of their faces. "I don't need to do anything. You've already done enough. There's security footage. The school has cameras at the front steps. You're all captured on video." This wasn't actually true, she couldn't be certain, but their expressions changed nonetheless. Logan laughed nervously. "You're bluffing." "Try me," Maya said coolly. "But just know, next time you touch her, I won't need cameras." Wes stepped closer. "You think you're some kind of hero now?" Maya didn't flinch. "I think you're afraid of people who refuse to be intimidated." Wes raised his hand as if preparing to push her, but before he could, another voice interrupted from behind. "Don't." It was Coach Redmond, the track coach, passing through with a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. He had witnessed enough. The boys froze instantly. Redmond wasn't known for lengthy speeches, he was known for assigning laps. "Touch her, and you're done," he stated flatly. "And I don't just mean off the team." Wes lowered his hand, glared at Maya, then walked away. Colton followed close behind. Logan spat on the ground but remained silent. Maya exhaled slowly. When she turned around, she found Brittany standing there holding her backpack, eyes wide with amazement. "Why did you do that?" she asked. Maya offered a tired smile. "Because someone should have." That afternoon, Maya was summoned to the principal's office, not for punishment, but because Brittany had reported the incident to the front desk. Principal Matz, a gray-haired woman wearing steel-rimmed glasses, asked Maya if Brittany's account was accurate. Maya nodded. Every word. Matz leaned back in her chair with a sigh. "We've had problems with those boys before. This time we'll address it properly." Maya nodded again. Before she left, Mathers added, "You showed real courage today. But remember, it's not your responsibility to fix everything that's broken in this school." Maya turned back toward her. "Maybe not, but I refuse to be part of breaking it further." That evening at dinner, Maya was unusually quiet. She helped Jacob with his math homework, washed the dishes, and retreated to her room early. But instead of starting her own assignments, she began writing something entirely different, a sentence that felt more authentic than any essay she'd ever composed. Courage doesn't always shout. Sometimes it simply whispers, "Not today." The atmosphere changed noticeably over the next few days. Maya detected it in how people looked at her, not with mockery as before, but with something closer to respect, or at least caution. Some students offered subtle nods in the hallway. Others whispered her name when they thought she couldn't hear. Brittany began walking alongside her between classes, not saying much, just keeping pace as though they'd always done so. They never discussed what had happened near the vending machines. They didn't need to. The silence between them carried understanding, not heaviness. One afternoon, Brittany appeared at Maya's locker with a small package wrapped in brown paper, explaining it was from her mother, a simple thank-you gift. Inside was a woven fabric bracelet in black, red, and gold. Maya slipped it on wordlessly. It fit perfectly. Throughout that week, the boys who had shoved Brittany maintained their distance. Wes still puffed out his chest when passing them in the hallway, but remained silent. Coach Redmond ensured this, keeping vigilant watch during gym class, whistle always ready, but tension doesn't simply vanish because no one acknowledges it. It lingers like a brewing storm at the edge of a clear sky. On Thursday, Maya noticed someone had scratched the word rat into Brittany's locker, deep enough to be visible, shallow enough to pretend it wasn't meant to be permanent, Brittany simply took out a cartoon cat sticker from her binder and placed it over the word without comment. Maya admired that quiet defiance, though inwardly her fists clenched. At home that night, Maya struggled to focus on her English essay. She stared blankly at the screen while Jacob wheeled into her room carrying hot cocoa. He placed the mug on her desk without speaking. "You're not angry," he observed softly. "You're hurt. It feels different, doesn't it?" Maya looked at him with surprise. Though only 2 years her senior, he often seemed to see through her completely. "It feels like I keep trying to be better," she muttered, "and the world keeps challenging me to stop." Jacob offered a tired smile. "Maybe that's exactly the point. Keep going anyway." She didn't respond, but she completed her essay that night. It wasn't her finest work, but it was honest. The following day during lunch, Maya and Brittany sat beneath the oak tree near the back field, a spot rarely frequented by others. They discussed music, how Brittany missed her gospel choir in Atlanta, how Maya used to sneak into her neighbor's garage just to play an old, battered piano. "Do you ever sing?" Brittany asked. Maya shook her head. "Only when I'm alone." Brittany smiled. "Then that means it truly matters to you." Maya didn't say it aloud, but this thought stayed with her throughout the day. Something about Brittany's presence made her feel secure without needing to be guarded, as if there was nothing to prove. But security is fragile in high school, and the cracks reappeared that afternoon when a video began circulating. Old footage of the confrontation outside the gym, captured by someone who had never spoken up, but now suddenly felt bold. It showed Maya confronting Wes, exactly as it happened, but with distorted captions. "Girl thinks she's a hero. Starts drama for attention." The comments beneath were even worse. Some students laughed, others shared it. Several even added mocking music. By sixth period, Maya's phone buzzed constantly. She turned it off. Brittany found her by the vending machines after school, offering a pack of Twizzlers. "Peace offering?" she asked. Maya accepted one. "It's fine," she muttered. "Let them talk." Brittany tilted her head questioningly. "Is it really fine, though?" Maya looked away. "Numb, but I'm used to it." That night, Maya showed Jacob the video. He watched in silence until it ended, then asked, "What are you going to do?" Maya shrugged. "Nothing. Responding just gives them more ammunition." Jacob leaned forward. "So, either let them control the narrative or build something from it." Maya pondered that thought long after he left the room. The next morning she entered school with her head held high again, ignoring the whispers. But she noticed something new. A few students, ones she didn't even know, offered small gestures of support. One girl discreetly passed her a note in the hallway. "Thank you for standing. Up for Brittany, for all of us." Maya didn't recognize the handwriting, but she carefully folded the note and tucked it into her back pocket. By Friday afternoon, tensions escalated again. Maya was exiting the gym after PE when she spotted Brittany cornered against the back wall, near the maintenance shed, this time by a girl, Kenzie Walker, cheer captain with perfect nails and cruel eyes. Her words were hushed but cutting, slicing with each syllable. "You think you own this place now just because some transfer kid played hero?" Maya saw Brittany's fists clenching but remaining still. Their eyes briefly connected, and that was enough. Maya approached with deliberate calm. "Back off!" Kenzie turned, eyebrows raised. "Oh, look who decided to speak." Maya remained steady. "You want to push someone? Try me." Kenzie scoffed. "Trust me, I'd love to, but you're not worth getting benched." "Over." She stepped away, but not before bumping Maya's shoulder with false sweetness. "Be careful, new girl. Crowns don't last long here." Maya watched her leave, then turned to Brittany. "You okay?" Brittany nodded. "Yeah." Then her voice cracked slightly. "I didn't want you to intervene." Maya paused. "Why?" Brittany's eyes were moist but resolute. "Because I wanted to handle it myself. Like you did for me." Maya exhaled softly. "You did handle it. You stood your ground." Brittany looked away. "But I still needed your help." Maya smiled gently. "That doesn't make you weak. It means you're brave enough to accept backup." Later that evening, Maya received a message from Coach Redmond asking if she would consider joining a new student-led peer mentorship program, not as a participant, but as a guide. She stared at the message for a long time before replying, yes. Not because she felt like a leader, but because somewhere, someone might need what Brittany had given her: quiet courage, unwavering presence, and the feeling that even in a harsh world, someone truly saw them. That weekend, Maya sat at her desk writing something unrelated to schoolwork or assignments. It was for herself. She wrote about the experience of being regarded as if you don't belong, of being ridiculed for standing tall, of being repeatedly told that silence offers greater safety. And then she wrote the truth. Silence may ensure survival, but voice brings freedom. And it begins not when crowds listen, but when one person takes a stand. By Monday morning, the hallway dynamics had shifted again. The video that once mocked Maya had lost momentum, buried beneath an unexpected counter-narrative. A student from the yearbook club had posted an alternative video showing the complete sequence: Brittany being pushed, Maya stepping forward, and the full context of what transpired. No musical overlay, no editing tricks, just unfiltered reality. And that proved sufficient. Comments began to reverse course. Those who had previously laughed fell strangely silent. Several teachers acknowledged Maya with nods as she passed, and one counselor invited her to address a peer assembly about student conduct. Maya didn't immediately accept. She wasn't certain she wanted to represent any cause. She hadn't sought attention or recognition. She had intervened because it was the right thing to do. Yet somehow, that choice had transformed her into a symbol. Throughout that week, Maya and Brittany began spending lunch periods in the library near the tall windows, where sunlight cast gentle rectangles across the carpeted floor. They rarely discussed past events anymore. Instead, they shared future aspirations. Brittany expressed interest in starting a poetry club. Maya joked about possibly teaching self-defense classes if the school ever permitted it. They were becoming fixtures not through loudness, but through steadfast presence. One afternoon, a freshman girl approached them with a trembling voice and bruises poorly concealed with makeup. She said little, only asking, "May I sit with you?" Maya shifted over, patting the seat beside her. Brittany wordlessly offered half her sandwich to the girl. That gesture conveyed more than any speech possibly could. But peace in schools like Eastbrook remains perpetually temporary. It happened with alarming speed. Wednesday afternoon, after sixth period, Maya was heading toward the library when she heard shouts near the East Wing stairwell. Not angry shouts, but panicked ones. She rushed toward the commotion and found students gathered in a tight circle. At the center lay a boy with wide, shocked eyes and a bleeding nose. Logan Ward stood over him, fists clenched, breathing heavily. Someone claimed he had snapped. Another said the boy had made comments about Logan's sister. But Maya detected something else. Fear in Logan's eyes, not rage. Still, the damage was done. Administrators arrived within minutes. Logan was escorted out in handcuffs despite his protests. Students whispered, phones recorded. No one intervened. "That, night," Brittany called Maya, her voice shaken. "They're saying it was self-defense, that the other kid threw something at him first." Maya stared at her ceiling. "But nobody captured that part on video, right?" "No, just the punch." "Same story, different angle," Maya murmured. "People only see what confirms their existing beliefs." By Friday, Eastbrook High resembled a pressure cooker. Rumors circulated about Logan, about the other student, about potential board decisions to tighten disciplinary policies. Students began choosing sides again. Some labeled Logan a thug. Others claimed he was simply tired of being targeted. Maya maintained a low profile until Principal Matz pulled her aside after third period. "I know you declined the assembly opportunity," she said gently. But we need a voice the students trust, someone who understands what it means to be seen, to be misjudged. Maya hesitated. She gazed out the office window, watching students fill the courtyard. "I'm not a leader," she finally replied. Mats leaned forward. "Exactly, that's precisely why they'll listen. You're not trying to be anyone but yourself." That evening, Maya sat in her room with her notebook open again. She reflected on everything. Brittany's fall, the silence of that first day, the fear that gripped her when confronting the bullies, the reassuring weight of her brother's hand on her shoulder whenever she felt like disappearing. She wrote not a formal speech, but a story, her story, unpolished, imperfect, yet honest. The following day, she stood before the assembled student body in the auditorium, her heart hammering so loudly she could barely hear herself think. The microphone produced feedback. Someone coughed. Then silence descended. She surveyed the audience. Students slouched in chairs, teachers lining the walls, some clutching clipboards as if evaluating courage itself. She cleared her throat. "I'm not here as a role model," she began. "I'm here because I once watched someone get knocked down without cause, and I almost did nothing. I almost walked away." The room remained perfectly still, but something inside me said that if I walked away once, I'd keep walking forever. So I turned around. I stood up, not because I wanted to appear brave, but because someone needed to feel valued. She paused meaningfully. What we permit becomes who we are. If we allow silence to conceal wrongdoing, then we become part of that wrong. I'm not superior to any of you. I've experienced fear. I've wanted to disappear, but I'm still here. And sometimes that's all you need to be for someone else, just present. When she concluded, applause didn't immediately follow. But then it came, not thunderous or frenzied, just steady and genuine. After the assembly, Maya found Brittany waiting by her locker, wearing a gentle smile. "I told you that your voice matters." Maya returned the smile. "I didn't realize its importance until someone actually listened." Over the following week, things began shifting again, this time more gradually. The student mentorship program launched without fanfare. A handful of freshmen joined. Brittany conducted the first poetry session in the library. Maya arrived early to help with preparations. The girl with the bruises continued attending. Others followed. Not because Maya promised safety, but because she exemplified strength. One Friday evening, Maya sat beside Jacob on the porch as cicadas hummed in the trees. "Were you scared up there?" he asked. She nodded. "Still am," Jacob laughed softly. "Good. That means you're doing it right." Maya leaned back, gazing at stars peeking through branches. "I used to think power meant hitting hardest," she reflected. "Now I believe it's about knowing when to show restraint." Jacob raised his mug. "To wisdom." Maya clinked her glass against his. "To showing up regardless." And somewhere not far from Tom, that porch in Athens, Georgia, another girl found her courage in a crowded hallway. Perhaps she had remained silent too long. Perhaps she witnessed something she couldn't ignore. Perhaps Maya's words resonated in her heart. Words that didn't roar but whispered just loudly enough. "Not today." Because courage once witnessed becomes contagious. Even in an unkind world, sometimes all it takes is one person, one Maya Williams, to transform what silence represents.